Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Pagani Design PD1662 GMT in this new left-handed only colorway. This is the green and the black. This watch was sent to me for free by the Pagani Design official store on AliExpress. I don't have to send the watch back, but you know the deal by now. That's not going to sway my review one way or the other. The retail price for this watch is $105 US, but it will be available during the upcoming sales for under $80 with all the coupons available, and that is a really good price, I think. So the PD1662 comes in a bunch of different colorways. You have the option of this 5-link bracelet, or you also have the more traditional 3-link bracelet. This green color is only available in the left-handed option. All other colorways are only available in the right-handed models, so keep that in mind, but there are a ton of them. So yeah, you're gonna go have to check out that link down below and see which ones you like. I really do like this green and black. I think it looks pretty cool. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire crystal, a screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 100 meters of claimed water resistance, your choice of a stainless steel strap, and it's powered by the Pearl DG5833 automatic GMT movement. So this left-handed only layout, it's been an adjustment to say the least. You know, looking for the date over on this side and having the crown on this side, you know, picking it up out of a watch box or off a table and not putting it on upside down has been interesting, but I'm kind of you know, getting used to it now, and I think this colorway is really nice. I think they should use this colorway on right-handed models too only. So yeah, so Pagani, if you're watching, put this colorway with the right-hand models. I think I would be definitely interested in buying one. But anyway, I think we should get right into the review. But before we do, I'm going to do a quick wrist check for today. Today I'm wearing the Ramalti. This is the RM001. I did an unboxing on my channel number 2, so go check that out up here. Also subscribe there, because that is where unboxings are going to live from now on. And yeah, this thing is great, and I'm really looking forward to doing the full review on this thing pretty soon. I got a lot of other watches that came in before this, though, so trying to give them their fair shot. But yeah, this thing is really nice. Anyway, go check out that review, and we'll get to this review. All right, let's get into the dimensions. So the bezel diameter on this is 40.2 millimeters, and that's pretty much what the case is. It's going to be hard to measure the case just because of these crown guards here, but it's right around 40 or 41. Yeah, it's like 40 and a half or so. Got a thickness of 12.9, 20 millimeter lug width. Lug tip to lug tip is 47.9, and we do have ever so slightly protruding end links. So the end link to end link is 50.6 millimeters. So this is a pretty typical case that you would see in a sports watch, kind of dive watch style thing. You know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say it. It wears exactly like that. It's a pretty flat case, as you can see there, but I think it wears pretty nice. It's got a pretty thin mid case, which I was pleasantly surprised with, and a pretty flat case back there, so it does sit right down on the wrist for you, and I do like it. So I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. Here it is on my 7.5-inch wrist, and as you can tell, it just wears great. Yeah, I've got no problems with the way this thing wears. Kind of a little awkward looking at it, just you know, trying to get used to the orientation, but it does wear pretty good. It's fairly flat on the wrist there, but short lug to lug helps it wear pretty good. You can see it kind of sits up on one side. I think that's just based on the clasp position. I need to adjust that a little bit, but I mean, overall it feels pretty balanced. You get lots of light play off of the bracelet and the ceramic bezel insert. I think it looks pretty good. And here we are out in some direct sunlight, and there you get a nice shot of the color. And yeah, I think it looks really good. No anti-reflective coating on it, but still plenty legible in my opinion. And yeah, I do really like the green color that they chose for it. It looks really good. Very happy with it. I'm going to go throw this on some straps, and then we'll get back to the review. And here we are on a Vario leather strap. One of my favorite straps, and I think it looks really good on this. Kind of plays nicely with the green and the black. Yeah, I think it does look really, really good. What do you guys think? We got some more straps for it, though, of course. Here we are on a black 2-stitch strap. Link is down below for this one. I think it looks alright. I do like the brown one a little bit better, but this one doesn't look that bad. What do you guys think? Yeah, I definitely like that brown one better. Here we are on a fitted rubber strap. I think looks really good. The link for this one will also be down below. This one fit perfectly. Sometimes these give you some problems, but this one fits pretty good. Puts a little bit of pressure on that bezel, which is a good thing. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, this thing looks really, really good, actually. I'm very happy with it. What do you guys think? Yeah, I like this. The setup looks good. I'm going to throw down a couple more, though. Here we are on a single pass Perlon strap, which I think looks alright. I figured it would match a little bit better than that, but it is a little bit too bright for that green, but I still think it looks decent. Very fun summery color. What do you guys think? Got one more strap to put it on. And lastly, here we are on a single stripe NATO. This is also down below. And you can see here with 2 layers underneath, it does set up quite high. This is a pretty thick strap though, so just keep that in mind. But there you can see the green with the green, and I think it looks alright. Still not my favorite. I do like that fitted rubber or that brown, or just the stock bracelet. I think is the way to go on this one. So yeah, there you go. What do you guys think? Let's go back inside and get back to this review. All right, let's talk about the case finishing. So case finishing on this is actually pretty decent. You've got a vertical brushing on the top of the lugs here, as you can see there nicely. Pretty nicely done. You have fully polished on the sides here, and you can see they're just straight sides, which is not a bad thing. But you can see when you really start nitpicking, you can see where they're cutting corners on the polishing. You can see the little, it's not as smooth as it should be or could be. And honestly, when it's on wrist, you never notice it, but when you do look at it like this, you start to see where they cut corners a little bit. Transitions from the brush to the polish here, they're all right. They're a little soft. That's one of my main concerns, or I guess complaints with this case, is these top edges are a little soft. They're just too rounded for this style of watch, I think. If they could have sharpened that up just a little bit, I think it would be a lot better. But it's a minor gripe, I think. You have polished on the sides here, polished crown guards, as you can see there. You have a pretty nicely signed Pagani design crown, really nice. That kind of sits inside of those crown guards. The crown does protrude quite a bit, which I'm not a huge fan of. I wish they would kind of drop this this groove in the crown guard even further in and sink this crown maybe another couple millimeters. I think it would look a lot better. Again, another minor complaint. But yeah, I think overall the case looks pretty good. Flipping it over to the case back, as you can see here, you got a display case back showing off that Pearl DG movement, and you get your typical spec sheet around the outside. I think it looks pretty good, and yeah, I've got no real complaints with it. You do have the model number right there, which again is a nice little touch. Typical notches to get a tool in there to remove the case back if you ever need to. Circular brushing on the bottom of the case, all these edges here, they've been honed pretty nicely. Actually, these edges are a little bit sharper than these top edges here, so I wish they would kind of just flip these 2 edges around. But again, another minor complaint with an otherwise pretty nicely done watch. So let's talk about the bezel on this thing. So the bezel on this, it is a 120 click unidirectional bezel. It's not bidirectional, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it's fine. I've got no huge gripes with it. It is a pretty clicky bezel, and it is fairly easy to turn. I would like to see a little bit more resistance in it. But overall, I think the action is okay. And so you do see a little bit of play in the bezel here. There's maybe ever so slight amount of play up and down, but I can't really confirm that or not. But it definitely rocks a little bit too much for my liking. I was kind of surprised because way back when I reviewed the PD1662, which is their non-GMT of this model, and the bezel was, I thought, really good. So yeah, I was a little disappointed to see that there's some play in the bezel there. It's not a deal breaker, but definitely could be better. And they need to tighten up that bezel, in my opinion, though. All right, let's talk about the crystal. So first things first, we'll test it for sapphire. You can see positive for sapphire on the crystal, and the Cyclops is also positive for sapphire. So that's nice to see. The crystal itself doesn't have any anti-reflective coating. Hasn't been a huge issue. Definitely has been an issue with the Cyclops though. That Cyclops definitely needs some anti-reflective coating. Sometimes it's very difficult to read that date, but yeah, I think the crystal on this, it's fine. It is a flat piece of sapphire crystal, as I mentioned. It's fine. It's exactly what I expected it to be. It's not really a huge negative, but it's definitely not a positive, and that Cyclops, I think, lacking AR is definitely a negative. It needs some anion reflective coating. They should just throw it on the bottom of this crystal all the way across. I think that would help a lot. But yeah, it's a decent crystal, but nothing fancy, nothing special, and probably the bare minimum that they could do on this thing. But still, it's sapphire. The Cyclops is sapphire, so I'm happy to see that. All right, so let's talk about the dial on this. So the dial is done really nicely. You've got a nice inky black glossy dial. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. The indices are all applied really nicely, nice and straight, nice and aligned. And I think they've actually updated or upgraded those indices. I always had an issue with the circular indices not quite matching the boldness, I guess, of the square or the triangle indices, and I think they've actually fixed that. I think it looks really, really good. Very happy with that. The handset on this, it's your typical Pagani design handset, Mercedes hour hand, pencil minute hand, and they're nicely sized. Reach right out to the minute track. I've got no problems with the handset on this thing. Got that really nice pop of green on the GMT hand. Very happy with that. One thing I did notice on this GMT hand, I'll see if I can show you, that the paint actually goes onto the triangle there. Yeah, you can kind of see it right on the edge. I only noticed that when the triangle was in the Cyclops, so obviously something you're probably not going to notice every day, but just thought I'd mention that. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with it. You got your Pagani design text and shield there. You got your green GMT there at the 6 o'clock with automatic, water resistant, 10 bar, 100 meters. And yeah, I'm overall pretty happy with this thing. Yeah, no real issues with it in my opinion. The dial on this is pretty nice. The Lume, on the other hand, it's not terrible, but also not great. There's watches in this price range that are using BGW9. Pagani is still using that dark blue Lume that they've been using for quite a while, and it just doesn't stand up. So here you can see it against a couple other watches in my collection, and it just gets kind of blown away, especially by the Chronos. That's kind of what I want to see and what I expect in this price range now. So I want to see Pagani kind of step it up and start using that Lume. All right, so let's talk about the movement in this thing. So again, the movement is pretty nice. It's got a nice rotor on it there. Otherwise, it's very unspectacular down there, but that is what it is. I mean, it's a cheap GMT movement. I've had this movement or a variation of this movement in a lot of watches. It's always been pretty accurate for me. This one has not been great as far as accuracy goes. I'm going to pop up the time grapher shot here. So that's what you can see. It's running pretty fast for me. But for a watch like this, it's kind of what you have to expect. Most of mine have been running about 12 seconds. These DG movements, they've been running about 10 to 12 seconds fast a day, and that's probably what you should expect on this. This one, I think, just got a bad one. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, these things, when they do run, they tend to run for a long time. If they're going to fail, they fail fairly soon and fairly quickly. But yeah, they've been around for a long time, and I think overall they have a pretty good reputation. They do hand wind. I'm going to butcher this because it's all left-handed now. But so yeah, this first position here, you hand wind it. You got to turn it backwards. It's again, it's kind of weird. This second position, you spin it down or backwards. That changes the date. And if you spin it away from you, you set the GMT time. And I'm going to show you guys a little trick. Every time I get this movement here, I got to show people this because I always say this happens to them. So watch this GMT hand when I press it in. Okay, there, it didn't do it, of course. So watch this GMT hand when I press in. See how it jumps a little bit there? So there's a way that you can stop that from happening, and I'm going to show you. So you set it to whatever time you want, and then you got to roll back this crown just a hair, just a little bit like that, and then press it in, and it won't jump. That happens every time. Yeah, I've kind of found this loophole, and I try and spread the word as much as I can. But yeah, I think the movement, it works good. It hacks, as you can see here. You pull it out to the third position, and it hacks. So it hacks, hand winds, independent GMT hand, 21,600 beats per hour. It's about a 40-hour power reserve. I believe it's loosely based on a Miyota movement. So yeah, I've got no real problems with the movement at all. Pretty happy with it overall. This one has just been a little bit less accurate than I would like. The screw in, screw out action of this crown, again, really hard doing it left hand. I usually flip these things over and do it that way, but yeah, the screw in, screw out action, it's very smooth. I'm very happy with it, especially Pagani, they seem to get these crowns really nicely on these models, and this is no exception. It's very smooth, very happy with it. So let's talk about the bracelet on this. So this is the 5-link model. They also have the traditional 3-link model. I think you should go with this one. If you like the look of this, I should say. This is a much nicer bracelet than the other ones. It's not perfect, but it's actually pretty good. You do have solid links, solid end links, as you can see there. Female pivot end links, which is nice to see. I think they fit the curvature of the case pretty good. You can see, you get a little bit of a protruding edge here, but that's the same on even the Chronos and San Martins that I've seen. That's just kind of the style for these type of links. They do sit up just a little bit, and I think that's just to give a little bit more consistency with the outer links here. They want to show as it's kind of continuing into the case. But yeah, I think it's done pretty good. You've got brushing on the outside of the links here, polished on the insides there, which you can see, I mean, especially right in this area here. It's not great polishing, but again, these areas are so small that it doesn't really make a big deal when it's on wrist. You don't really notice that. So again, not a huge issue. There are screw pins for adjusting. I had no problems removing the links on this thing. Very happy with that. The clasp is your typical Pagani design clasp. So you've got polishing on the outside of the clasp here, pretty nicely done. You've got brushing on the top as well as polish down the middle with your Pagani design text here. Again, you've got some sharp corners here, which is typical with this clasp. But it does function pretty good. I'm going to try and get in here. So you have your typical flip lock here, and then you just got to get your fingernail in there and pry this up here, and you've got fully milled inner parts to the clasp here with a slight kind of sandblasted finish in the middle, polished everywhere else. This one is not too bad. You do get a little bit of slop in this joint here, but that's not a big deal. Same with this one, you got a little bit of slop there, but I've never had a problem. I've had some of these clasps where they just refuse to latch, but this one has been fine for me. Yeah, I think it works pretty good. You've got micro adjust on the inside here. The only problem with that is that you have to adjust it through this quick or easy link adjust, and I'm telling you, that's about as hard as I can press, and this one's not popping. It's a typical common problem with this clasp. Pagani needs to do something about that. They need to just ditch this clasp or get someone else to make it for you. If you guys can't get it right, please just ditch this clasp. We don't care about the look of this thing. Just give us a functioning clasp. The hidden micro adjust is a pain in the butt. When that extension works, it's great, but it's, for me, in my experience, and I've had a lot of Paganis with this clasp, it's probably like maybe 30% of the time it works. The other times you need to like either get in there and pry it open, or it just never works. So that is a huge issue with this clasp, and they need to do something about it. I'm sick of having this clasp. When I see this clasp, I get let down because I know that quick or easy link thing probably isn't going to work, and if it doesn't work, I'm not going to be able to adjust the micro adjustment. So it's a huge pain, and they need to do something about it. The bracelet itself, though, I think is really nice. It's very comfortable. I like this one more than their 3-link bracelet. It does have the same taper, so it is 20 millimeters down to about 16 at the clasp, as you can see there. I am pretty happy with this bracelet. I just don't like the clasp. They just need to do something different with that clasp. Please, Pagani. Overall, though, the bracelet experience was fine. I was able to get a good fit, thankfully. I didn't have to use the micro adjustments, and I think these links are small enough where you're probably going to get a really good fit. I think it looks really cool. It has flex, and it's comfortable. It doesn't jangle too much. I think it's a great bracelet. I just let down by that clasp, really. So there you go, guys. That is the Pagani Design PD1662. Tons of different color options. You got your left hand option now with this really cool, Sprite colorway, and I think it looks really, really good. My main issue with it is a little bit sloppy in the end links here, which I don't think I mentioned during the bracelet, but it is a little bit of sloppy in between these links here. And then this clasp, they just need to get rid of that clasp. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this watch. For, you know, it's going to be under $80 in the upcoming sale. I think that's a really good price for this, and I see no reason not to buy it. Yeah, pretty happy with this thing overall. So if you guys are interested in purchasing this, there's an affiliate link down below. Thank you guys so much for using my affiliate links. It really helps the channel grow, and I'm going to keep on going and keep on buying some watches and keeping on reviewing. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.